Hello my friends, my name is Artur Rehi and I am an Estonian reserve soldier. Kaalub päris palju, see on siuke, võtad kätte, tunned, et on raske. Vastane ees! You do your conscript in Estonia, you do your conscript service, and then you will be a reserve soldier for the rest of your life, basically. You'll be drafted immediately as war comes. No choice about it. Many of you are confused. What am I? I'm a soldier? I'm not a soldier, I'm a reserve soldier. Let me explain it to you. Every man in Estonia has to go through conscript service, and they do it for 11 months or 8 months, and then they will become a reserve soldier. Meaning if war comes, they will... First thing they do is go to war, basically. That way we don't have to keep our active duty military very big, but we still have a trained population. I'm a reserve soldier. I'm not currently actively in the army, but I have done my conscript, and if war comes, I'm in the list. We have watched videos about Marines, Navy SEALs, SAS, Spetsnaz, but not US Army. Regular army. That is supposed to be like the biggest contingents of US military, right? So today we are definitely going to check that out. And how is it different from Marines? I actually haven't got an idea. Like, Marines are next level army or armies? Who's better? I don't know. That's a very touchy question, I guess.
Why are you moving? Why are you moving? Huh?
This is Army Boot Camp.
They look like children. Like, these faces are... They look like they're 16 or something. How old do you have to be to get in the army? 17 is like the youngest, right? It's too young. Like, these faces, they don't even have beards yet. I mean, not that you need a beard in army, you have to shave it anyway, but still, like, they feel too young for this stuff.
Before they join the United States Army, all recruits have to graduate from a 22-week program known as One Station Unit Training, also known as OSIT. It happens here at Fort Benning, a 182,000-acre military installation that straddles the Alabama-Georgia border about 100 miles southwest of Atlanta.
That's a huge base, right? Like a ginormous base. Couldn't even compare to other bases because it's supposed to be this... The biggest one? I don't know. What's the biggest one in America?
Every year, more than 18,000 soldiers graduate before joining the more than 470,000 people actively serving in the Army.
18,000 from only this fort? 18,000! Every year more soldiers graduate than the active duty in Estonian military. Like, we have below 10,000 active. No wonder US has so many soldiers.
14, 15.
Although most of the recruits that we saw during our time there were male, recruits trained together in gender-integrated platoons.
These young men and women that volunteer to serve, they show up to us as civilians, and then we take them through a transformative process to turn them into soldiers.
You just go to position of attention and you stay in position of attention.
On a rain-soaked week in February, we spent 4 days inside the Army's Maneuver Center of Excellence.
I mean, if you have been in the army, if you have been in the forest for a longer period of time, not just for fun, but for weeks, the rain is one of the worst things that can happen. Even if you have rainproof clothing, it's still the worst thing. I mean, our weapons even rusted a little bit. I don't know if these new weapons, they have more plastic than metal, these M4s here, but I mean, our AK4s, they definitely had all metal and they were going to rust. It was wet, it was cold, it was moist. I didn't like it, no, at all. I don't like rain when I was in the military. In civilian world, rain doesn't mean anything to you. If you're in the forest for the 3rd week, for example, then you hate rain.
Which trains soldiers to serve in the infantry and armor branches. We saw different companies at various stages of training. On day 1, new infantry recruits on a bus from the Atlanta airport.
But explain it to me, you're 17 years old in America. Why do you go to the military? Is it because it's so well paid or you don't know what to do with your life? I'm not judging, I'm just trying to understand why so many people do it. America, 18,000 graduate and even more go. I mean, most of them, some of them won't graduate, so let's say about 20,000 join every year the army. It's a huge number. So why do you do it? The pay is so good, the propaganda is good, or you just love your country, the stars and stripes banner, yeehaw! Want bring freedom to every country in the world. I'm not making fun of you actually, I'm actually trying to understand. So yeah, please explain it to me in the comments.
Arrive at the 30th AG Battalion headquarters, where all new recruits are received.
Listen up! You ain't got waiting here for you at this point. Is yes, drill sergeant, no drill sergeant. You understand? Yes, drill sergeant! When I tell you, you will pass your folders to the front.
The minimum age to enlist in the Army is 17, and the maximum age is 35. The base salary for an entry-level private is about $20,000 a year.
20,000 a year, how much is that? In Estonian money, in monthly salary, let me do my math. It's not much. For Estonian, it's very good for Estonian, but for America, it's not good at all. But again, you're a private. If you get higher in the ranks, I'm sure you're getting more. If you would live with that wage in Estonia, you would be living quite good, actually.
Oh! 30 seconds! Hurry up, find your bag!
Once they're off the bus, the first order of business is establishing the code of conduct.
Because I promise you, if you don't pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, you're gonna make your Army career very short. You treat everybody with dignity and respect, regardless of race, religion, color, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, and all other protected categories.
Sexual orientation, like can you be gay in US Army? I ask you straight out, like can you be gay? Because you can't in Estonian Army. No sir, no you cannot. You will be bullied a lot, like it's impossible. Just a thing to think about.
Yes? Yes! Sexual assault is any unwanted physical contact in a sexual nature. So if you put your hands on another individual and you're not instructed to or you're not saving their life, and they file a sexual assault, and it comes down that you put your hands on this individual when you weren't supposed to, that is going to be on you. You will get kicked.
What? Sexual assaults? Like what? This is why... Yeah, I guess the men and women train together, it's possible to happen, of course, I understand. It's good that they talk about it, like this stuff happens, right? I just didn't think about it.
Down to the military, and then you'll probably have to file as a registered sex offender. Do you understand?
In America, it's like, I don't know if it's in Estonia also, but in America, if you're a sex offender, you have to tell everybody that you are a sex offender. I'm sure this will get demonetized because of it, but it's so weird. Like if you're searching for employment, I mean, it's a good measure because people don't do it then because it's a horrible thing to do. But they have to tell by the law to their employee, to everybody I think they talk to. I am required to tell you by the law that I am da-da-da, you know. It's very efficient, but it's weird.
Before they go inside, the new recruits learn some basic commands and standing positions.
Hut train tight! Everyone look down at their toes. You should be able to fit a slice of pizza in between your toes. If you look around, they're gonna see you. Cause you're taller than everyone else! Quickly! Who wants to fit there? Move your feet!
See, I would be that tall guy. I'm really freaking tall. Yeah, I would be this dude and they would be yelling at me because I'm taller than everybody. Yeah, I don't like this stuff. Don't yell at me, I will yell back.
Everybody goes all the same!
The recruits grab the snack that's waiting for them inside,
Snack.
consisting of a fruit cup, sunflower seeds, a granola bar, and a juice box.
Watch the video!
Yes, it's very good. They're getting proteins and nutrients and all that, but it just looks funny if a bunch of Marines are sucking on a juice pack. But it's really good for you, yes.
Since 1775, the Army has been the bearer of our nation's strength in every crisis or conflict. Make no mistake about it, the journey you are embarking upon will not be easy. But you wouldn't be here if we didn't think you couldn't meet the challenge.
Listen up, your last 4 year social.
After being welcomed, recruits begin what's known as processing, which can take 1 to 2 weeks before their actual training begins.
In a little bit, we'll give you a period to go in a room by yourself.
I hate these mingling periods. Like if we went to the army also, a few days went to getting your gear and putting your paperwork in order. I hate that. I can't stand it. Like I would love training more than just standing around and waiting in lines and getting your stuff. 2 weeks, I understand they have a lot of men, but still 2 weeks is such a long time. I would go crazy there. Like these men, even the processing period, we're just watching the video, but this will already test you. It's a strange environment, everybody's on edge, it's a new situation. If you really think about it, then it's really stressful. I don't like it. But praise to these young men who are doing it.
First, they're given one last chance to discreetly dispose of prohibited contraband, like drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and inappropriate.
Damn it! I wish I had my drugs with me. Can't do drugs in army. I wish I had my needle and my drugs. Damn it! Actually, yeah, I know drugs means also like other kinds of medicine in America. But yeah, obviously you can't do those stuff. But tobacco, cigarettes. Like in Estonian army, everybody smokes and does the lip tobacco. They just put it underneath here. It's gross and disgusting, and I don't like smoking. I smoked also a little bit, but I quit immediately. Everybody smokes in Estonian army. It's like 90%, I would tell you, really. It's quite bad there. So it really impresses me to see that in US army it's not allowed to, because of course it's freaking horrible to you. You cannot run, you cannot think clearly if you don't have it. It's an addiction, and they are focusing on it, not allowing it. So praise, yes, really good. But it's quite hard if you are a smoker and you just have to quit like that. It's quite hard. Cold turkey.
Photographs.
If any photo you possess on your phone is less than a bathing suit, you will not have it. You will delete them all.
Recruits get rid of contraband in an amnesty room, where they dispose of it by throwing it down a metal chute.
Is anybody confused on what you can and cannot have?
The next morning, the recruits report to the barber shop, where one barber has worked at Fort Benning for almost 60 years.
I've been here ever since 1963. That's a long time.
1963, I mean, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis at that time. He remembers the Kennedys and all of that drama with Khrushchev and Soviet Russia. Damn, this dude knows what he's talking about. And he's shaving hair off. He knows his hair, I'm sure.
I should have been retired a long time ago, but I wake up in the morning now, I be wanting to come out here and go to work.
Recruits are issued uniforms. They receive a series of immunizations and vaccines, and get their official photo taken, along with
It's so, yeah, they vaccine you, but it's so cool. It has to work really fast and efficiently, so it is like a treadmill. It's like a fabric line. You just go, you're given boots, you're given a bag, and the next stop, you're given 2 shots on both of the shoulders. You're prepped up so fast. And I know it happened the same way in the Estonian army. You got your shot, you got your gear. Each point had one item of gear for you ready, and you just took it, and if you finished the line, you had a lot of gear and 2 shots in you. So yeah, I didn't like those. Like, this is the part I don't really like, the intermediate period. You're not in the army, you're not a civilian anymore, but you're just in between for like 2 weeks. Don't like it.
period housekeeping details that fill up their 1 to 2 week stay in processing.
Hey, sit up straight.
That is, until processing ends and the time for training finally arrives.
Let's go. Grab your bags and go.
We found a company of recruits about to begin training.
He looks so sad. Look at him. He's like, I know what his look is. It's fear of what's gonna come. And but the thing is, there are volunteers. We had to go. All of our Estonian men, it's mandatory. We are forced to go, basically. But they are volunteers, and still they are so sad. I mean, you're getting paid for it in the end, after all. We didn't get paid, by the way. We didn't get paid. It's for free. So, like, we had to do this stuff without any money. But he looks so... I feel bad for this dude.
In the armor school,
Who's the bridle?
these recruits are about to be picked up and taken to their barracks, where they'll reside for the rest of their training.
Ooh, dark.
This is the last chance for recruits to change their minds before training begins, like one recruit who decided to stay behind.
It's okay to stay behind, like, it's scary, it's a life-changing decision, it's really okay to make this. In the end, you have to do what you love in life, not... If you become a soldier, if you become a marine or an army soldier, and you don't like it, it's the worst place to be in. I didn't like it, I did it, it was truly hard and difficult for me, and I wasn't even on the most difficult spot. So, if you don't like it, the best thing is to just opt out. No shame in it. Now it's good time to dive into the Estonian Youtuber Cup competition. Remember last time I told you that US states are now competing against all countries around the world. And actually they are winning. How weird, isn't it? I mean, US is winning, of course, duh. But still, we have some new contenders and they're not states, they are countries. You're fighting against European countries now. So, let's see what's up. Welcome back to the Hall of Fame! Behind me you see all of the states that have ordered the cups. You see the numbers. Right now leading is Washington. Things are going to change. You know why? Because from today we accept countries versus the states. Real countries, European countries, Asian countries, whichever country you want to represent. Get a cup from that country. I mean, you have to fly there and get a cup from there. It's easier just to get a cup from your home country. That being said, get this. William Delors Sullivan. From France! Vive la France! Yeah, you heard me right. The old country, France, that actually owned Louisiana before you guys, US, bought it. So yeah, we have France. France, nice country. I'm gonna add it with blue. So all countries will be added with blue now. William, you did honor to your country. And who's better to oppose French than the British? Yes, it's such a stereotype. I mean, in America we have Texas versus Washington, and in Europe we have French versus the British. If you Americans don't know what it is, then it's the oldest rivalry there is. Way before US, way before countries were even born, UK and French were rivals. Mr. Sir Alan Smith from the Great Britain and its surrounding areas. Sir Alan, I will add you to the board. United Kingdom, long live the Queen! Tyler Merrill from Maine. Maine, is that... that's a state, right? Yes, that's a state. I didn't know we had any more new states. We don't have Maine, so I'm gonna add it. We have Rodney Hicks from Indiana. Indiana Jones got its name from Indiana, right? Was he from Indiana? Rodney, you done good for your state. Mikael Austin. It's Michael Austin, but Estonians would say Mikael Austin. From Minnesota. Minnesota? You're from Minnesota, mate? Why, I went Scottish there. Andy Knapp from Georgia. Not the state, but the country next to Russia. Yes, we have now... No, I'm just kidding, it's the state. Yes, Georgia has a state. We have David Eckert from California. California, the state that had gold and oil. Now it has just oil. I think the gold is all gone thanks to the gold rush. But still, oil is good. And perfect weather. And scorpions. And a lot of Mexican and Chinese. And the beautiful sea. And the long beach. And the dirty streets of Hollywood. Nice, my dude. Some new orders. A new rivalry has happened. And it's in Europe. Across the bond from the US, look to the Europe, we have UK versus France. You from UK, you from France? Let's get it on! Back to the video. Nice to see that we have some mix-up, we have some old school European countries and some states. Let's add a country from every continent, that would be so cool. If you're from Antarctica, order now. If you're from Africa, get the cup. You from Russia, you don't have money probably.
Short bus ride from processing to their new barracks will be the most peaceful moments these recruits will experience for a while.
Oh yeah, I remember the bus rides were the most peaceful ones. No one yelled at you. You had no task. You were at the in a warm bus, just like, oh, the road is nice and I don't have to do anything. As soon as you get out, it's raining, the lieutenants are yelling at you and you have to run somewhere. So these bus rides, I praise them. I love the bus rides in the army because I didn't have to do anything. It was so peaceful.
What happens next is known as the shark attack.
Immediately! Yes! I hate it! I bitch about it a lot. I'm sorry, I don't really hate it. Don't take this as criticism. For me, for my personality, army didn't work. For these guys, it probably works, and it's fine. Just don't get the wrong idea that I'm like, oh, boo, boo, army bad. No. I praise these lads for doing this. It's not an easy thing they do. They put their life to it. So, as you say in America, thank you for your service.
Good! Get your bags up right now!
Ooh.
Get your bags up this way! Let's go! You're a tough guy. Don't do something! Do something! That's what I thought. Why are you still not understanding? He just said it!
Well, it's really just a little shock to the system so we can break them down to build them back up. We're breaking a lot of habits from the civilian world, and nothing better than a little shock to the system to establish that that drill sergeant is in charge to let us start our training.
Pick up your bag and hold it!
I understand why it's necessary. Yes, you have to break a person down to be able to build it back up again the way they need to be built up. As a soldier, you cannot come from a civilian world to become a soldier. You need to be built up as a robot almost. I mean, it sounds bad, but this is how it is in US Army. They are brainwashed in a positive way to serve their country. They don't do that in Estonia because our soldiers have to go back to the civilian world after. Like, US has a big problem of soldiers coming back from military and they have issues. The suicide rate is enormous in the veterans. It's really hard to come back to the civilian world when you came from army because they rebuild you there. In Estonia they don't do that, of course, because our men are reserve soldiers, that meaning they will have to be able to get along both in army and in the civilian world, so we cannot break them down, otherwise we wouldn't have a working force in Estonia. We need these men to build up Estonia, we cannot break them. But in US they can actually, as a big country, they can allow it to themselves. But yeah, it's quite hard to come back from this to civilian world.
The recruits spend much of the shark attack holding their heavy rucksacks above their heads, which takes a physical toll.
Why is that so difficult?
It's really hard.
You decided to join the army and pick that bag up.
Right side back, right side back, right side back.
After about 20 minutes, the intensity begins to subside, and the drill sergeant's tone changes
We only produce the best soldiers in the United States Army.
before training officially begins. After the shock and awe of the shark attack, things do appear to calm down.
Is it a video?
It's a movie.
Alpha 347. I always wanted to be a star.
We found this group of infantry soldiers in week 11 of their training, practicing on the firing range. The mood was much more relaxed,
Try to get 8 up on my level.
and their conversations with their drill sergeants are conducted at normal volumes. Drill sergeant educated the recruits on the meaning of the military expression, 8 up.
Is a piece of 8 up gum good? You don't want something that's 8 up, right? You want something fresh. You break the seal, smells like olive oil, right? Okay.
That dynamic changes because we want the soldiers to become more critical thinkers. At that point, we are turning into more coaches and mentors. We dial it back a little bit, so we don't want them frightened. We want them to be comfortable and in a state of mind that is receptive to learning and performing at that level.
Up to 240.
I didn't see how they charged their clips. I actually not aware of this. Like, they pushed it down, right? We didn't have that stuff in Estonia. We had to like manually charge, refill our clips. They had some kind of a contraption that did it really quickly. Comes in handy.
41 hours of infantry OSIT are devoted to marksmanship, where recruits fire about 2,500 rounds using the M4 carbine, as well as the M249 squad automatic weapon, or SAW.
We create lethality, we create expert marksmen at their individual weapons, because as an infantry soldier, that's what we're asking them to do.
Recruits get one of the most painful parts of training out of the way early.
Once we check your seal, you will not touch your promass.
This group of infantry recruits was exposed to CS gas, or tear gas, in
Oh,
week 1 of their training.
Week 1. Immediately go to tear gas, and if your mask is on wrong, you're gonna cry like a little bitch.
Stop. You're gonna place your back against the wall.
The recruits spend about 5 minutes inside the gas hut.
Look at that.
Exiting the gas hut, the recruits are told to flap their arms like birds to remove excess gas from their uniforms. According to a drill sergeant, the effects of the gas begin to wear off after about 4 minutes.
Oh, I mean, they had to take off their masks to feel the gas. Like that. I think they do that only once, but it's painful. Like, you have to. We didn't We weren't forced to feel the tear gas, the tear gas was put to our face when we had the masks, so if people just didn't put their mask on properly, they had the punishment of pain, but we didn't have to take them off. I felt a little bit of itching everywhere, you know, around the mask, but it didn't come in. A little bit it came into my throat, a little bit. But it wasn't like that. I mean, some of our dudes failed with it. And they cried like little girls, but I understand it's a really tough thing. Tear gas will take down the toughest of men.
Some training moves indoors, like combatives, where recruits learn hand-to-hand self-defense tactics.
We're trying to teach them to achieve a dominant body position. So get out of one negative position and then switch roles so they end up having the upper hand in a fight.
During combatives training, recruits warm up with a particularly painful-looking exercise, referred to as the EO. While laying on their backs, they have to engage their core to wiggle across the entire room.
That's really good for your core muscles, but it's very difficult. Seems weird, but it's really difficult to do. For like 10 minutes you do it, you're dead. You don't want to do it anymore. Also, we didn't get this combat training. Like close combat training, we almost didn't get at all. I wish we got it more. Brings back my own memories. My friends, thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for getting the Estonian Youtuber Cups. Many of you commented that I should push the end date to June 6th instead of June 1st, because June 6th is the anniversary of D-Day, which I will do actually, I think. Please get the cups, please become a patron, and as always my friends, until my next video, stay cool and bye bye.